Question of the day. What's your favorite fan service piece of art? Whether that's a game, whether it's a movie, whether it's a comic, a video game, whatever it is. What's your favorite fan service piece of art? Now, some might say, well, it was definitely Avengers Endgame. Well, that might be true because it was fantastic, right? But what if I told you that it were possible to publish a game and your fans of it are going to go crazy and love this, but the rest of the world may not have a clue what this is until you introduce them to it. So what better way to do it than a card game Fanhunter Assault? You say, what in the world is Fanhunter Assault? Or some of you are like, of course, yeah, Fanhunter Assault, we got it. Let's take a look at this. It says it's a fast and foolish card game. It is that. Let's take a look right now, see what it is, what it does, how it plays, all this sort of stuff, and come back up and talk about the impact of this game, or this idea really more so, and how it relates to pop culture and all that sort of stuff and the gaming industry. So Fanhunter Assault from Devir Games right now. So this is essentially how the game starts. You take 3 good stuff cards after choosing your character. They all have different powers with different suits. A movie buff, comic book geek, gamer, otaku, magic nerd, lethal fan. They also have alternate art on the back, which is nice if you like that sort of thing, right? So you get the guys and girls. So at the beginning of your turn, you're going to either play a card out of your hand, it'd be an NPS, a non-player schnoz, or you can play a trick card. Now that you get the trick cards, you get their effects immediately, which was with these two, and the NPS would go down here and just play in kind of our zone, right? You can add items to him, you can add abilities and things like that. Then on your turn, you have a couple different actions you can do. You can reveal a phase card by flipping this over. You can see what it is. Obviously, these are interesting looking. They have that nice Watchman motif. This is Scattergories. Give this card to another player. It's -1 point at the end of the game. They are suited, so this is based on the gamer. It will key off of that in certain ways. But basically, this is an object card, so if it comes up, you'll grab it and you'll just give it to somebody else. Now, if an object card is attached to you, it just kind of sits there next to the player that it's attached to, the NPS it is attached to. You can have an event card, which would be things like these question marks. You just do what they say. It says play a good stuff card from your hand immediately, which is nice because it allows you to get more of the NPSs or events or trick cards played out there. So this is give a +1 strength to your NPS. So why do you need strength? Well, one of the other things that can happen would be a guard would be flipped up on top. Wow, there's no guards in phase 1. But in phase 2, you can have some guards right here. Once they flip this up, he's blocking this deck from being turned over. And one of the rules about turning over a phase card is one of your actions. You have to have a phase 1 card before you can do a phase 2 card. So you'd have to kind of start over and go up this track, basically. This says leave the guard face up on the phase deck it came from. The deck is locked. So you can't get to that anymore. He's got a strength of 2 on there. So you're going to have to beat his strength in order to get access to that deck again. Plus, if he's in your collection at the end of the game, you're going to get some points. So one of the other things you can do is you can play an ability. So there'd be something off of an NPS, something off of an object, or a big schnoz. The other thing you can do is store cards in your collection. So you would take a card, you discard it out of the game, you're not able to use its power anymore, put it over to the side. You now have that in your collection. At the end of the game, when all the good stuff cards are taken, you stop, you score based on who has the most points, and whoever is that person is the winner of this, what do they call it? Fast and foolish card game? Fast and foolish card game. So that's it. Now normally I say, so that's it. But I kind of have to say, so that's it. Because it's mainly just a card game that's been done before, in a sense. Not saying anybody took this from anybody, but it's a card game. Pretty straightforward card game, but this one has lots and lots of cutesy references. Not, I mean cutesy in the sense of like kid stuff, but like it's basically the game of, hey, remember that? Hey, remember that cool stuff? Hey, remember how you like the 90s? Hey, remember how you like the 80s? Look, this looks like Watchmen. This looks like Nick Fury. And maybe it's because the universe isn't for me. It's just I like when there's fan service. I like when there's references and things like that and stuff. But we've gone to the point where it was awesome to have a reference to anything. Like when in Man of Steel, when there was a Wayne satellite that got crashed into, it was like, wow, that was cool, right? But now it's like references are an entire genre now of, kids TV and comics. Basically the entire comic industry is references of like, hey, remember that stuff? That was cool, right? Remember the 90s, how we used to have patches on our and pockets and belts and stuff like that? That was cool, right? But it's become like cynical irony. Now this does something, I do have to say, Fanhunter, the universe, does something different. It at least shows how much it truly does love its, I don't know, it's source material, I guess, in a sense. But it also is weird because it's a card game based entirely on just referencing things, and the whole universe seems to be based on just referencing things that are out there. And I have no clue how some of this stuff got published. Again, I don't know the rights. I don't know how this works. I don't know any of the stuff about distribution. But man, there are a lot of just like skirting the line things of like, dude, if this were bigger, someone might have a problem with this. I mean, come on, right? But that being said, it does have some pretty neat art. I mean, the Fanhunter art is actually, while graphically limited, its Wikipedia site says, it does have just a unique style to it. I mean, it's got a lot of cool, I don't know, nostalgic feel to it, even if that's all it is, right? Even if it's just, oh man, I'm having a hard time. You can hear me having a hard time with this. Like, cause again, I don't want to come down and be like, this game is terrible, because it's not. That's the problem. It's not so much that it's just a boring or terrible card game, because it's not. It's just that it's a card game that's been done before, but with references. That's really it. It's like, hey, look, you win because you have the most points at the end of this game. You're going to draw cards and play cards until there's no more cards left. Whoever has the most points at the end of that wins. And again, I know I'm not being super charismatic in this video. I'm typically a little bit more animated like this, but I don't get it. Someone let me know in the comments if you played this, if you read this stuff and it's just kind of your thing. What am I missing here? I want to be honest. I want to be open and to it, but what am I missing, or am I pretty much hitting it on the head? That it's basically fan service, references to things, and you go, huh, that's supposed to be Deadpool, or hey, that's supposed to be Cable, or look, that guy kind of look. That's some Jim Lee X-Men stuff right there. I mean, like, come on, like, none of these are things that you're not going to recognize. Like, you're going to recognize every single one. This one's Dr. X Strange. He looks like Doctor Strange, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so maybe, just maybe, I'm missing something here. Oh my gosh. Some of these I'm not even going to read on here, the names of them, because you're just like, I don't know how that got past either. But I mean, they're interesting. They're interesting to say the least, But again, I know I'm rambling at this point. I know that you're just hearing me look through these cards and go, wow, that's interesting, that's funny, that's silly. But the point is, the universe is so weird. It's so strange. It's so just different, that the stuff's based on a dude who loves Philip K. Dick novels, that you just go, I don't have a clue what I just played, right? Because at the end of the day, let's get down to the final thoughts here, rather than me just talking about culture and things like that, which is probably not what you came here for, and probably what you're dinging this for right now. But you know what? I had to get it out there. Wanted to talk about it because it's interesting to me. But at the end of the day, this is just a card game with limited art. And that's all there is to it. And when I say just a card game, you say, but Bryan, there are so many great card games. There are. Those are not this. This is just, hey, play these action cards, get these cards in your hand. There's no special mechanic where you go, wow, that's amazing. I've never seen anybody do that before. I've never seen anybody combine that idea before. Like, for instance, when I reviewed some games recently, they were card games, but they were card games that elevated the card game into becoming something else. Whether that was you place your thing on a card and it shows a location you're standing in, versus just, I have cards in my hand, I place some on the table, and now I draw some more cards. At the end of the day, you could theme that with anything, and it doesn't matter. And I feel like there's no theme in it other than for you to go, looks like Doctor Strange, looks like Deadpool, that looks kind of like Watchmen. At the end of the day, when it all comes down to it, this is just a card game that features a lot of references, and at its heart, that's it. There are no There's not. It's a game based on the theme versus, hey, let's design this thing from the ground up. It's how can we get more people into the Fanhunter universe? Let's take this to whatever. And I'm not knowing anyone's heart. I don't know anyone's intentions. I'm just saying that is the idea. Is you get more people to know about Fanhunter. You get them into this universe. They might enjoy it. They might like it. They might laugh at it through this avenue. So that's Fanhunter Assault. It's a pass for me. You know, it's just not something I would enjoy. Not something I enjoy. Not something I want to play again. Really, it's yeah, it is what it is. So I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. A couple negative reviews this week, and one of them was, well, I'm not going to tell you, but one of them was my favorite franchise, and I got a negative review this week. That's just terrible. What's going on? Negative week. But I'll be back soon. We got a lot of great reviews coming out, including a wrestling promotion game. You are a booker for wrestling. I can't wait to play this. But I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at @TheLatestRetro. And until next time, we'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower